about a little girl who's hearing a story from her father, and he's telling a story to her, but it's a different story. So I'm telling you a story about another story that's actually about another story. Everybody with me so far? Good. Well, like all good stories, this one starts with once upon a time. Once upon a time, there was a little girl being of keen mind, asked her father the true meaning of Christmas.
So, did you enjoy helping to decorate the Christmas tree tonight?
Yes, it was lots of fun. I especially liked putting all the presents under the Christmas tree.
I bet you did. Did you happen to see any presents with your name on them?
No, but I hope that doesn't mean I won't get any.
Well, if you know the true meaning of Christmas, I suppose it wouldn't matter if you got any presents or not.
Isn't the true meaning about giving and getting presents?
No. Actually, it's not. You see, the true meaning of Christmas has nothing to do with the presents, the decorations, or even the tree.
What is it then?
Well, I tell you what, let me tell you a story. So I'm going to come right over here and I'll read you this story and hopefully tell you a little bit about Christmas. Let's see. Here we go. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch who lived just north of Whoville did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season.
But why?
Now, please don't ask why. Nobody really knows the reason.
So, Dad read to the daughter about the Christmas season and about the Grinch who hated Christmas for some reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. Or it could be his shoes were 2 sizes too tight. But I think the most likely reason of all is that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, Grinchy frown at the warmly lighted windows beneath in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy hanging mistletoe and wreath.
And they're hanging their stockings.
He snarled with a sneer.
Tomorrow's Christmas. It's practically here.
Then he growled in his Grinch fingers, nervously drumming.
I must find some way to keep Christmas from coming.
For tomorrow, he knew, all the Who girls and boys would awake bright and early, and they'd rush for their toys. And then, the noise! The noise! That was one thing he hated! Was the noise!
Get your porridge! Not too hot, not too cold. Get your fresh porridge. Please, ma'am. May I have some more?
No! Then the Who's, young and old, would sit down to a feast. And they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which was something the Grinch didn't like in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Who's would start singing. They'd sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought,
I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop Christmas from coming. But how?
then he got an idea. He got an awful idea. He got a wonderful, awful idea.
With my special watch, I'll hypnotize the whole town. Then on Christmas Day, they'll regard with a frown. Yes, with my special watch, they'll forget Christmas Day. Yes, that's how I'll do it. That's the way. I don't have a watch. Okay, I know just what I'll do.
He chuckled in his Grinchy throat, and then he made a quick Santa Claus hat and coat. And he chuckled and clucked.
What a great Grinchy trick. With his hat and his coat, I'll look just like St. Nick. All I need is a reindeer.
Well, the Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there were none to be found. Did that stop the Grinch? No! He simply said,
If I can't find a reindeer, then I'll make one instead.
You know, that reminds me of the books, Miss Family Robinson. They had to make everything. They killed this big turtle. They ate meat. And they took a sink. Well, they took a shell and they turned it into a sink. How could you know?
Wrong story!
Do you mind? We're already telling a story here.
So, the girl with the book was given a look. She left with an eye roll in her head. She did shook.
Say,
What?
Well, the proper verb use would be shake and not shook.
I had to make it rhyme. Where were we?
Page 15.
Oh, yes. Let's see. Let's see. Page 15. Okay. Yes. Well, let's see. The Grinch hears the Who singing, gets an idea, finds out he needs to make his very own reindeer. Okay. So he called his dog Max. And he took some red thread and he tied the big horn on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks, and on a ramshackle sleigh, he hitched up old Max.
Yeah.
Said the Grinch, and the sleigh started down toward the town where the Who's lay a snooze in their town.
Just a few moments for a set change before we go to the second act. Just want to remind everyone that we do have our refreshments downstairs. I keep mentioning those refreshments because I know it's a favorite of mine, and it may be of yours as well. But anyway, and plus you can stick around if you have questions about the props or the set or different players and what they did. Feel free to ask them that as well. But anyway, so do please stay and enjoy some time together tonight. So I think we're pretty well set to go. So let's proceed. Act 2.
All the windows were dark. All the Who's were a snooze. All the Who's were all dreaming. Sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first house on the square.
This is stop number 1.
The old Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof with the sacks in his fist.
I knew I forgot something.
Maybe he could have tied that right thread around his finger instead of the poor dog's head, you know? Ahem! Then, he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch. It was rather a challenge, not exactly a cinch. He got stuck once for only a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where all the little Who stockings hung in a row.
These stockings are the first things to go.
Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant. Around the whole room, he took every present. And he stuffed them all in bags, and the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimbley.
is that gonna be a war bag?
No, but just go with it for now.
Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that old Grinch, he even took the last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. Then he cried gleefully,
And now I'll stuff up the tree.
and the Grinch grabbed the tree, and he started to shove. When he heard the small sound like the coo of a dove, he turned around quick, and he saw a small who are you?
You're not the who.
No, I'm Humpty Dumpty.
What are you doing here?
Well, this is a children's story, isn't it?
Yes, but we're not even by the same author. You're Mother Goose and I'm Dr. Seuss.
See, it rhymes. I should be in the play.
Whatever, just go sit on that wall over there and don't touch anything. Please start at the tree, someone.
Sure. Then, the Grinch grabbed the tree, and he started to shove. When suddenly he heard the small sound like the coo of a dove, he turned around quick, and he saw a small who. Little Cindy Lou, yes, who was not more than 22.
What's up, dude?
You've got to be kidding me.
What can I say? Budget cuts. Little kids are expensive because of the insurance on them.
The Grinch had been caught by this tiny who daughter, who'd gotten out of bed for a cup of cold water. He looked at the Grinch and said,
Why? Why do you take me on Christmas? Why?
and the little who teared up and sniffled back a cry.
You have got to be kidding me.
Shush!
That's not even an original story. Even I know that.
It's called artistic liberty, my friend.
Why do we need it anyway? Who is going to believe that? Who is going to cry over a tree? Most people around here coming down from firewood anyway. Wow! I think I broke my entire body.
That was a great fall.
Oh no!
Not again.
This time he's done it. It's hopeless.
Yeah, we're not gonna be able to put him back together.
Well, let's go back to the castle. I'm starving.
Me too. Wonder what's for breakfast.
Sweet eggs and ham.
Can we not continue with the story?
Yes. Let's see. The Grinch was shoving the tree. Cindy Lou appeared and asked why he was taking the drill. Yes, here we are. But you know, that Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick.
Why, my dear little tot, please dry your eyes. There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear, and I'll fix it up there, and then I'll bring it back here.
His fib fooled the child. And then he patted his head, and he got him a drink, and he sent him to bed. And when Cindy Lou, who went to bed with his cup, he went to the chimney and shoved the tree up. Then, the last thing he took was the log for their fire. And then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. Then, he did the same thing to all the other Who houses, leaving nothing but crumbs that were too small for their mouses. It was dawn. All the Who still abed. All the Who still a snooze when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, their ribbons, their wrappings, the tags and the tinsels, the trimmings and the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, up with his load to the tip top to dump it.
Pooh-pooh to the Who's.
He was Grinchishly humming.
They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. I know exactly what to do. They're waking up now, and their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then all the Who's down in Whoville will cry boo-hoo. That's a noise indeed, a noise I must hear.
So he paused, and the Grinch put a hand to his ears. He did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, and it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. This sound sounded merry. This wasn't sad, it was merry, very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes, then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville any presents at all.
I haven't stopped Christmas from coming. Somehow or other, it came just the same.
And the Grinch with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, puzzled and puzzled how it could be so. He stood there puzzling 3 hours until his puzzler was sore. Then he thought of something he hadn't before.
Maybe Christmas doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas perhaps means just a little bit more.
And then what happened? Well, in Whoville, they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light, and he took that bag